Shit, yeah, dude, man, party time. Welcome to the first episode, the inaugural episode of the Eclecticide podcast with me, James. So, the Eclecticide podcast is something that I've been wanting to do for a very, very, very long time. I wanted an open forum where I can literally talk about whatever I want to. What better way to do that than be eclectic? So, I have a very eclectic mind. I like to do a lot of different things. I like to read. I like to read serious books. I like to read comic books. I like to read articles. Or sometimes I just like to listen to audiobooks. As far as audio goes, I like music. I like metal. I like some rap. I like classical. I like rock. I like it all. I like working on cars. That's enough of that. What I'm getting at is that I wanted a podcast and a platform that if I wanted to, I can sit down and talk to someone about cars. Or I can mumble on about my day with something that I thought that was really, really odd. And I promise you fuckers, it's gonna happen. I have a very strange mind and it works in a very, very odd way. Just kind of like your minds. So this whole podcast should just be something that you can easily relate to and something that you thoroughly enjoy listening to as much as I thoroughly enjoy making them. So that would be the eclectic part. It's just all these different kind of genres, all these little nodes, that things that I can do and that I want to do. Now, the side part, CIDE, is more of a play on genocide. The fact that I am all over the place, it's going to drive you nuts. I'm going to kill you with how all over the place I am, because we may do an interview one episode, and then the next episode, I may just be talking about something random that you find hilarious and or stupid or very meaningful. It just depends. I'm going to try to keep it light, tight, and bright. That's how I like to keep my life, and that's how it should be. As I lovingly call it, as most things, fucking party time. You'll get it, you'll pick it up. It's going to be something that we're both, I hope there's more than fucking two of us listening, that we're all going to enjoy. With that being said, all this happened so damn fast. Not the idea, because like I said, I wanted to do that for so long. I wanted it to be everything I've always wanted it to be. I like to hear myself talk, and I like people hearing me talk, but I had a plan. I was going to bank some of these episodes. I was going to throw them out like one at a time, bi-monthly. We're still going to do bi-monthly, but it just took a big jump because I dug a giant hole and I had to jump in it. Have you ever done that? Have you just bullshitted your way into a situation, next thing you know, you're lifting your arm up trying to save the fucking Rolex, right? You're in deep shit. That's kind of what happened. So I was going to a show with a band. I wanted to see a band that I really, really love. And I had this great idea. I used to be involved in the music industry lightly, so I was like, I kind of know how to get in here, and I'm going to do this. So I reach out to some people, and I'm like, hey, I want to do this. And they're like, absolutely not. The band's giant. The tour's giant. We don't really have any need for you. We don't have any content. It's not that we don't believe in you doing it, but just no. So I said, all right, fine. And next thing I know, they're like, but I have this. Do you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And this was like 3 days ago. So it was something that happened so fast, and it was magical. So what better way to start off a podcast that's supposed to be about flying off the handle and things happening immediately and abruptly and however your brain works than with a start like this? So what that magical moment was is I got a new band called Creeping Death off of E1 Records that is about to release an album on Friday, the 27th. Today, if I get the podcast like I want to. And I got the pleasure of interviewing their guitarist, Trey Pemberton. The dude's a fantastic guy. He was nice enough to sit down and give me some time. I have more interviews coming, but right now we're talking about Creeping Death, and we're talking about this brutal album. Like I said, metal, that's one of my loves. And so what better way than to start here? Here is the inaugural episode, the inaugural interview, Trey Pemberton from Creeping Death.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I just like shooting. Chat. We'll chit chat. You know how it is.
Sounds good. And since you're sick, man, I'm not going to eat up too much of your time. So, but yeah, so I got the, my name's James, by the way, and you're Trey. You play guitar, right?
Yeah. Nice to meet you, James.
Awesome. Likewise. Well, so I just got the album. I guess 2 days ago from the PR people, man, and it's pretty sick, man.
Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So I mean, like, how old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 26. Lincoln just turned 23. Reese is 24, and Rico turns 30 on the 30th of this month. So,
Okay, so y'all are
yeah.
around my age. So my thing with that is that, I mean, obviously you have more of a like an old school sound, you know.
hmm
It's more like what you would call, like, unabated raw metal. It's not
hmm
deathcore. It's not anything that. Why did you decide to go to more that route versus more modern stuff?
Well, I think that stems from all of us just really being hardcore kids. I think that's just kind of, we kind of wanted to take a more DIY hardcore approach, but I guess apply it towards death metal. Um, that's really it. We'd all played in hardcore bands and stuff like that when we were younger, and it was like I always loved metal a lot, even as a little kid. And then, everyone else did. We were just all in like hardcore bands, and we kind of wanted to branch out and try something new. And for me, I wanted to try a new instrument. I was always playing drums in bands, and I'd never played guitar for a band. And I've been playing guitar for a couple years, so I was like, why not? Like, why not try to start this up with my homies and play something different? Get out of our comfort zone and see what happens.
Oh shit, yeah, man. Well, how was the scene in the Dallas area? I know down here I'm in Houston, and it can get a little rough at times. Whenever I was younger and kind of trying to do my thing, there were like six bands all kind of doing the same thing, and we were always playing the same shows, and it was just a constant, battle. What was it
hmm
like? Do you have a lot of support, or is it just,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think everyone kind of bands together. It's at least if they notice a band starting to like get more notice, they'll band together and put on for that band. I think like you said, every scene kind of has its ups and downs, and our scene lost like a pretty big like DIY venue. That whole alt-right thing where they were getting the venue shut down. Yeah,
right?
it kind of affected us too, and that kind of like made things a little bit it dipped a little bit after that, but it's starting to come back up. I think the big thing, what I like about DFW is, well, just Texas in general, I think, is the diversity of bands all like playing together. In DFW, we have everything from, like us, we're a death metal band. There's some other death metal bands that play with other hardcore bands, and then you have hardcore bands, and you have more punk style hardcore, and then you also have the more like metalcore style. And we're all like coexisting. We all play shows together, and it's all pretty cool. So I think that's pretty sick.
Right. I mean, even your tour that you have coming up. I mean, you're dealing with what, High on Fire,
hmm
which is, it's
Grammy award winning.
exactly. I mean, that's nuts, man. That's awesome for you guys. It's a great job on y'all's part. But I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
pretty stoked on it.
yeah, it would be. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know it's like again, it's super diverse. We've never been the kind of people. We're all like very diverse people in general. We all have very diverse tastes in music. So we're not going to limit ourselves to just playing one type of music or one type of show. We want to play to everyone. We want to play to as many people as possible. So we've played with rappers in the past. We've played with punk bands in the past. We've played with obviously death metal bands and metalcore bands and hardcore bands. So I don't think that'll ever change. I it's always people don't want to be like that whole gateway band. I guess it's kind of like a taboo thing, I guess, but I think it's sick. I would love to be that band that we play on a bill, and some kid who has never really dug into death metal or whatever checks us out and is like, yo, this band's badass, I want to see their influences, and they get into Grave and Entombed and Bolt Thrower and Sepultura and all this other cool shit that can just lead them into this thing, into this world that I think is fucking badass. So it's really just an extension of like, wanting to share this thing that I think is really cool with everybody else.
right. I mean, like you're talking about, kind of trying to be the gateway band on this end, or not, just kind of trying to usher that in. But you have people like Post Malone that a lot of people don't realize, man, has a giant metalhead inside him. Like that dude auditioned for it's either Crown the Empire or Thy Art Is Murder before his first rap album even came out.
Oh yeah, dude. He's from Tarrant County, and
Yeah,
I'm from Tarrant County too. I live in Fort, like real far north Fort Worth, and he's from like Grapevine, which is maybe 10 or 15 minutes away from me.
right.
So it's kind of funny, like all those bands and stuff, they were all kind of running around at the same time. So I know what you mean. Like it's cool, you know. It's becoming more like people see that stuff a lot more. You know, you see rappers wearing metal band shirts and all sorts of stuff, and you know, people touring. You know, you have SoundCloud rappers touring with hardcore bands and metal bands and all this stuff, and it's really just kind of opening the door for a lot of new stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, with that being said, one of the questions I had was like, other than the most evident diversity that you have in the album, like I heard in other interviews that you've spoken about, you wanted slower songs, you wanted faster songs, you wanted breakdowns, you wanted all these things.
Hmm.
And so, other than the most evident, like Slayer, and then you even hear hints of like Sabbath and the older, like real pure stuff, what else influenced like this album? I know that you said like y'all got in a hurry. Y'all had to like knock this thing out in like something, what, 10,
Yeah,
12 weeks?
yeah, like so our honestly like our influences haven't really changed since the beginning. Like it's always been Blood Red Thrones from Norway, Grave, that Swedish death metal influence. You want the big epicness of Bolt Thrower, and then the kind of the riffiness of Gorguts thrown in there, and the thrashiness of Sepultura. And the goal is to just kind of combine all these things without it sounding like disjointed. We all want it to sound like one uniform sound that is like creeping death. And yeah, the timetable thing it wasn't really that. We worked pretty good under pressure, and it wasn't even pressure. It was just kind of like, oh, we should probably just, you know, practice a couple times a week. It helps that Lincoln, Eric, and Reese and all them they writing with them is really easy. It just kind of clicked, and we kind of just once we stopped, we just really didn't stop. Or once we started, we really didn't stop. So.
Right. That's the best thing, kind of keep that momentum going.
Hmm.
And with that, I mean, you had a release last year, correct?
Yeah, Spectre of War came out in
Right.
2018.
Right. I couldn't remember if it was 17 or 18, but I mean, that was awesome. And then you have this album come out this year. So what's the end game for you? Not the end game, but like where's the goal? Like, when we were kids, the thing was like, man, I want to be on Ozfest. Like that's the thing. Like if I'm on Ozfest, before things changed, you're talking about like, man, I'd be on there with Pantera and Black Label Society and the Cavalera experience, whatever.
Hmm.
So like what's the hope for now?
I guess our goal is kind of never really even changed either. We really just want to build upon what we've already had. We want to continue to grow and get better as musicians and as just running the band. We want to get better at it. This is the first time any of us has ever done like a full-time band before.
Hmm.
So we're all still learning the ropes. There's still a lot of things here and there that we're learning, and every time we go out with someone, we take something from them and we learn something and we grow. And I guess the goal is to just not ever be stagnant and not ever be complacent. My dad always tells me, oh no, he always says, what is it? Oh man, know what makes you good. What it basically means is know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You never want to fall behind and that and thinking that, oh, I got this in the bag or whatever. You never want to rest on your laurels. You kind of want to keep growing and keep improving. And I think that's really the only goal we have as a band.
That's a pretty good goal, man. So, I mean, as far as touring goes, is this one coming up like one of the bigger you've done, or
Yeah, as far as like size of venues and just how many people will probably be there, absolutely. As far as length, we actually did it was like 30 something day tour with this band, our good friends Fuming Mouth from Boston, Massachusetts. They're another kind of death metal, hardcore. They're in the hardcore scene, but they're a death metal band too. it really just fit. It was a great tour all the way around. It was so fun. We love all those dudes. So we're geared up to um, see. We know what it's like to be on the road for a long period of time, and I feel like this one will probably have more amenities, I guess, since the venues will be bigger. So it'll be even easier than the 30-day one we did.
Right, of course. And I mean, you got some festivals on the date, and that
Hmm.
kind of helps with like more of a diverse audience sometimes. Um, like, what are y'all most excited about? With the tour. I mean, just hanging out, or is there some places that y'all
Honestly,
haven't played
yeah.
yet?
Just hanging out. Like we've known the Power Trip dudes for a long time. They're from the same hardcore scene as us. So, they come from Dallas hardcore. We come from Dallas hardcore. So, me and Nick and Blake, we have a fantasy football league together. So that'll be cool. We'll be watching the games together and shit like that. But yeah, just kicking it. Reese and Riley, I know, have known each other just from being from Dallas for years. I'm pretty sure Reese used to hang out with Riley's little brother or something like that.
Right.
But so yeah, so there's that connection, and also getting to see them play every night and seeing High on Fire every night. Because personally, I love High on Fire. I think that band's fucking sick.
That's
So
pretty damn
it'll
good.
it'll it'll be cool, and getting to Matt Pike is kind of like a rock and roll legend. So that's cool. I'm trying to smoke some blunts with Matt Pike and chill. It's gonna be sick.
Right. So well, you said you started off, playing drums, right?
Hmm.
When did you pick up the guitar, and like why was the move? Was it just out of necessity or boredom?
I picked up my guitar. I picked up a guitar at about 19. My parents got me a guitar for Christmas when I was like 17, my senior year of high school, and I did the typical thing. I didn't touch it at all for like 2 years, until really I kind of I learned how to read guitar tabs on Ultimate Guitar, and once I figured that out, it really just I just started to learn like metalcore songs that I liked at the time. So I learned a lot of stuff in drop tuning, which is why we play in drop tuning, because it was just like the easiest thing for me to like transition to. And then as my music taste is kind of like progressed, I was learning other stuff and learning other progressions and techniques and stuff, and I just kept applying it to, the band. And I think that's kind of like people say, "Oh, your sound like changed a lot." It's like, yeah, the sound did change a lot, but it's really only because like I got better at guitar. The drummer that was on the first couple EPs wasn't the same drummer that's on Rest Illusions. Lincoln is like amazing. So that's a big step up. Reese's vocals. Reese had never been in a band before, Creeping Death, so you can definitely tell the demo's vocals are very, very raw, and now Reese sounds like a beast. So that's really the big transition. I guess as far as wanting, like what made me want to learn guitar, my best friend Preston, we would always jam together as kids, and I was always the drummer, and he was always the guitar player, and I was always basically just low key jealous that he could practice his instrument whenever he wanted.
Right.
And I kind of wanted that. I just wanted to do something musical, like round the clock, and not have to worry about like a time limit. And then I kind of got more free time in college, so I was like, oh, why not? Why not just try to, jam some stuff out and see what happens.
Right. Well, what kind of gear are you running now?
I have a PV 6505. I have an orange 412 cab. Thing's a beast. I love it to death. As far as pedals, I keep it pretty lean. I have a TS9 tube screamer. I have an NS2 noise suppressor, just a TU2 tuner, and a MXR carbon copy digital delay. So I keep it pretty lean and mean. I'm a kind of guy that's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A lot of with the gear and the tone and stuff like that, since I am learning. Now I know. Like at the beginning, it was like I really didn't know a whole lot, but Eric or Rico, he's been my friend and kind of been the person to help me with literally all of that, with just playing guitar, guitar maintenance, guitar tones, any guitar information. He's been the guy since I started playing. He had played guitar in the band I played drums for, the hardcore band. So we had a rapport. We had been real good homies for a minute. So all praise goes to him. He really taught me a shit ton about guitar and tone and dialing things in and how to fix your own shit and all sorts of stuff. So
Right. I mean, whenever you start getting into that whole, that beast of tone, as I like to call
hmm
it, you just kind of start chasing, and you all of a sudden you have an idea in your head, and you're like, I'm not getting that sound yet. I'm not getting that sound yet. I'm not getting that sound yet. And I'm guilty of it bad, man. You start kind of chasing it. Next thing you just like have this giant pedal board, and you're like, I like to say it's like the Zach Wild problem. I don't know if you've ever seen him live, man, but it's like his guitar effects is just so stacked. It's like a chorus, a roto vibe,
uh-huh.
distortion, and you're just like, yeah, the solo's awesome, but it's hurting my face. But
Yeah, that's what, and honestly, I probably would have tried to experience that if Eric hadn't been so well versed in all of that stuff initially. He was basically just like, "Oh, if you want to sound like this, do X, Y, and Z with this, and you got to get close." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." So then I just kind of fiddle with it back and forth with what Eric gives me, and then I kind of play with it, and it just kind of ends up how it does.
right, I mean, you can hear it on the album too that you're not overcomplicating, you're not muddying up things.
hmm
The recording, obviously, I'm trying to think of like a way to say it that doesn't sound bad because it's not a bad thing. Y'all kept it simple, y'all kept it light. You know what I mean? There's not
Yeah,
any.
we wanted to make it so like people listen to it and then they see us live and they'll be like, "Oh, like this is what they sound like." Like we don't want the record to be like too clean or too one way or the other. We used all of the gear that we use now. Like we basically blended the tones to make a guitar tone. So one part was the 6505 Tube Screamer and an orange cab, and then the other part was Eric's PV VTM and through a Mesa cab with a rat pedal. So there's one end that's a little bit brighter with the orange cab and the TS9. The other end is a little bit muddier with the low end and stuff like that with the rat pedal and the VTM. And then we just kind of blended it and it turned out like really, really nice. And we basically we play with that sort of live. The kid who is playing second guitar for us, who's filling in for us right now, he uses Eric's VTM, and then he uses I think he has a Maxon TS808, but it's like modded or something like that he uses. That it's kind of similar to the Rat. So he has basically the lower end kind of, and I kind of bring the bright end, and then Eric kind of ties it together with his bass tone that it alone it sounds really dirty and filthy, but when it's in the mix together, it doesn't. You can't really tell, but it adds that chunky, that gunk that really hits hard live and hits when the heavy parts hit. So Eric is all him. Like he's a beast with that. So I give all credit to Rico.
Oh man, it sounds like you guys, you have a great relationship, a great rapport, and that's an important thing. When you're starting out, you just got the album out, you're going on this tour, and it's you got High on Fire, you got these guys that are you got to support, you got to hype everybody up. So it's good that y'all are going into it with a good mindset and friendly.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
love all we're all good friends. We all like to fuck with each other on the road and and stuff like that. But we're all good friends and we all care about each other a lot. And we all recognize that we couldn't get to this point without each other. So there's no egos. Like if you take out one of the pieces, we're not where we're at. So we all build upon each other. No one is bigger than the whole. It's all teamwork makes the dream work. So
right.
we're all in it for the same goal and everything. So
Well, that's the most important thing, man. But honestly, I think you'll have, all the potential in the world. I think you'll have so much more coming out. That's what I'm excited about to find y'all when y'all are this new, and hopefully my listeners and everyone who catches a glimpse of this, will hopefully grab a hold of that too and run with it. Um, so I mean, Wretched Illusions out what Friday?
yeah, this Friday, long time coming.
Yeah, right. I'm saying so that's awesome. But so where are people going to be able to get the album?
You can head to creepingdeath.net. All the links are all at one place if you want to buy it online. As far as distribution, like in stores, I'm gonna be real with you, man. I actually don't know that situation is. There's probably an email floating around somewhere that I just haven't looked at.
Right.
But I'm not sure. Hopefully, I think it's gonna be in record stores and stores and stuff like that too. You can pick up the CD somewhere. So, but if not, you'll be able to buy it online from our merch store, and you'll be able to buy it from us directly if you want to come and see us live, which what we prefer because we get all of the money at that point and
Right.
not having to deal with, all the other bullshit. So, yeah, come see us live, and I guarantee you'll like it a lot more. We bring a lot of energy to it. So, come see us and buy the records and stuff from us direct.
Right. And unfortunately, you're not coming to Houston on this run, but
Actually, we are.
are you?
Yeah, we're actually playing a standalone show with Devil Master on the man. Hold on, I'm so sorry. I'm going
Not
to
a
pull
problem.
up a calendar real quick. It's going to be on the 9th, I want to say, or the 10th. I think it's the 10th because Power Trip is playing Foamhinge with High on Fire. We're not playing that. Devil Master isn't playing that. We're going to be playing at the White Oak Music Hall.
Oh man, that place is like super new and amazing. Like y'all are gonna love
Hell
playing
yeah.
there. It's weird too because like I'm sure that, you play these metal shows. Sometimes it's like a repurposed VFW hall.
Yeah.
No, this White Oak place is like in swanky rich people town. They absolutely hated it. They tried to get their permits pulled several times. But now they just deal with it. But that place has giant shows. You're looking at like uh, weird, obscure things to play. They're Watsky, who I'm a big fan of, but Alice
We've actually played
Cooper.
there before.
Oh man, that
We
place
played.
is awesome.
Yeah, we played there with Knock Loose, like maybe I want to say 2017.
That would
I
have been a
think
really good show.
2017. Yeah, so yeah, we played there. It's pretty lit. Also, yes, that is Sunday, November 10th. We're going to be playing at White Oak Music Hall in Houston. It's just going to be us and Devil Master, and doors are at 7 p.m. So show up. It's going to be a quick show. It's just going to be two bands. Go about your business. So
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to run by and yell at you guys for a little bit. Then that's awesome.
hell yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't want to take up more of your time. I know you said that you weren't feeling real well, and y'all got a lot coming up real quick. So I'm, just want to tell you thank you for giving me your time, and good
Dude,
luck
of
with
course,
the
no
album.
worries.
I know from what I've been reading, Kerrang and all these other magazines there. I mean, they're in love with it. I really, really enjoy it. I'm throwing it around like it's candy. So
Thank you, man.
hopefully
Really
it just
appreciate
it pans out for you guys. I think you got a good future ahead of you. So, Trey, I just really thank you for your time, and I hope you all the best. And I look forward to seeing you all on tour, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. And if you end up coming to the Houston show, come by, say what's up. I'd love to meet you.
Oh, definitely, sir. I'll be there. Again, man, thank you for all your time, and you have yourself a fantastic day.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right. Shit, yeah, dude, man. That's it. I mean, what else is there to say? Creeping Death from the Dallas area, more specifically Denton, Texas. Their debut album on E1, Wretched Illusions, out September 27th. That's Friday, you guys. You should go get it. Go to their website. Go to their Facebook page. Whatever you need to do to get this damn album. The tours to follow. It looks like it's going to be like a true display of just heavy metal brutality. And no one can be mad at that. Everyone's got to get it off, right? So, there you have it. That is the first episode of the Eclecticide podcast. Shit yeah, dude, man. And be sure to party time, you fuckers. See you next time.
This has been a Rhyme or Reason production.